Whoa, is that too much? Is this thing on? What's happening, everybody? Hope everybody's having a fantastic, whatever day you're watching this. Good Lord, there is a glare off of my bald head. It has been a little while. Been having some technical difficulties, but we're on air. It looks like we are live, and we got a little bit of stuff to talk about, a little bit of Mopar news, some things that may be a bit exciting for you guys coming up in August. So Dodge is going to be giving us 3 days of reveals. This is coming in June. So if you're watching this, this is June when I'm recording this. These reveals are coming in August. If you're watching this after the fact, well, you stumbled upon probably one of the most boring videos you can find. But in this case, we are still about a month, actually about 2 months out from this big reveal. And the big reveal is basically just more opening of the proverbial garage doors, or at least that's what they're showing us for this Never Lift campaign that Mopar put together, which I guess we're all supposed to be extremely excited about. This also coincides with the whole direct connection thing that, well, let's be honest, let's just hope this whole thing on Woodward Avenue goes a little bit better than the launching of direct connection. So let's jump into this. So during Speed Week, I guess this is really the Woodward Dream Cruise, but leading up to that, you've got Roadkill Nights powered by Dodge. Well, Dodge is using this opportunity for the Woodward Dream Cruise as a prelude to the Woodward Dream Cruise to give us an idea on 3 separate days as far as what's going on with Dodge and what we can expect. So on the 15th, you're going to be looking at more current offerings. Apparently, there's going to be some talk about where they are currently and what types of products you can expect in the near future, at least in terms of internal combustion engines, which is about as far as I can understand where that was leading us. Because coming into the 16th, we're going to be talking about gateway vehicles. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I can only surmise that it's going to have something to do with hybrids and other cars that really aren't muscly and really aren't all that, well, frankly, exciting. But we're going to be looking at probably hybrids, maybe some small EVs, city cars, if you will, with the big reveal being the one that everybody's looking forward to coming on the 17th, which is going to be the future muscle, the future direction for Dodge. Possibly even hear what they're going to name this thing. Fantastic. So let me put some things into perspective for you, Dodge. So, how do I put this? Are you kidding me? So Dodge, let me get this straight. You are going to, guys, I'm going to need a little bit of room for this because my mind is going in like 10 different directions at the same time. So let me just go ahead and jump in the middle of this. Guys, Dodge, you mean to tell me that on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of August, you're going to take this opportunity as a prelude to the Woodward Dream Cruise, which is, for many people, the mecca of automobile culture, old school street cruising. We're talking 40s, 50s, 60s era cars up and down Woodward Avenue. This is a major deal. You're going to take this opportunity to tell us all where you're at, primarily with your performance segments, which is to say primarily with the Hellcat, the Red Eye, Super Stock, what have you. The jailbreak editions. I'm sure that's going to come into play. Okay. Maybe we'll see something cool like a Halo offering for the NA guys, like the 426 or something else to be done with maybe the 5.7. Anything to keep us interested in an event that is celebrating the internal combustion engine. Because the very next day, you're going to start to deflate and infuriate some folks with all this talk of plug-in hybrids. All this talk about what? A crossover or something along those lines. What, everybody's supposed to get geeked up over this latest batch of transportation appliances? I hope you do better, because you're really going to lose your target audience on the 17th, on the third day, when you start talking about the future of muscle, the e-muscle, at an event that celebrates the internal combustion engine and the culture and the lifestyle behind it. You're going to start talking about EVs at the Woodward Dream Cruise? Are you freaking kidding me? Have you lost complete grasp of any conscious understanding of what you're doing, Dodge? Are you kidding me? You're going to be talking about cars on the 17th of August that nobody in the target audience, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Nobody in the audience will be able to afford. Dodge, do you understand where this is going? You will have guys there that have got legacy vehicles. These are vehicles that have been in their families for generations. You will have guys there with cars that they built from scratch, resurrected, brought back from the dead. And you've got the balls to come out on the 17th, just 2 days, 3 days before the Woodward Dream Cruise starts, and start talking about the EV, which is in essence to say you're speaking about the demise of the internal combustion engine while you're standing there telling them about this and how great it's going to be. And none of them can afford the contraption that you're talking about. How narcissistic are you, Dodge? To think that that is a good idea is absolutely mind-boggling. The level of narcissism, which is the only word that I can come up with right now, so start the drinking game. If the level of narcissism that it takes to think that that is not only a good idea, but that that is in good taste is absolutely well within the branding of Dodge. Because let's be real, Dodge is selling and marketing a lifestyle, not a car. So little wonder why Timbo would think this would be a great idea to drag a bunch of people up to Woodward to talk about EVs and plug-in hybrids and all of that to a group of people that will, number one, the vast majority, statistically speaking, will not be able to afford. And number two, will be a slap in the face to everybody by saying, oh, by the way, that internal combustion thing, it's kind of dead. Good luck with that. Here's an EV to take the place of your internal combustion engine. Strange. But again, this is almost walking in lockstep with everything that Direct Connection had given us, or at least hasn't given us. I mean, we were supposed to have already seen these stage kits by now. If you've got a forced induction contraption, if you've got anything that is naturally aspirated, well, you're shit out of luck because you're not going to get anything. Direct Connection is not going to support the 392. And if there is going to be a halo car that's released that's internal combustion engine, do you want it to be an internal combustion engine that is naturally aspirated? Well, yeah, you do. The whole word on the street was that they were going to release something with a 426, but that was back in 2018. We've covered a little bit of ground since then. And now the hope, anyway, for internal combustion purists is that you've got something with the Elephant engine. Well, I hope that comes to play. At least you'll have a 426 in some respect, although that will be a halo car. And we're talking about cars that are costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Oh, yeah. Hey, NHRA, how does that make you feel? You know, when I was running Spring Nationals, I was brought in to run Spring Nationals as an invitee to promote Friday Night Safe Street Night and basically bring your car to the track. Only to be told that, well, I'm not relatable because it's a Hellcat. but yet you're going to parade Hellcats, Red Eyes, TRX, SRT Durango, Trackhawk. How many cars do I have to list with a Hellcat platform? You're going to parade that out on Woodward nights. Woodward Dream Cruise, Roadkill nights. Now, NHRA doesn't have anything to do with this, but I really wish the message would be a little bit more consistent. Just a little bit of consistency. But that's just me ranting and raving. That's just me blowing off steam. The fact of the matter is, I am a little bit heated over this. The reason why I'm a little bit heated over this is because it seems to me, that Dodge has lost track, that Dodge doesn't quite get its core audience. And notice I said audience. Should have said customer, right? But I thought it was a brotherhood. It's all in the family, right? If you can't afford it, what's the point? If you're not bringing muscle to the masses like you did back in the day, which is what you're drawing all of your marketing on from, what you're trying to point it to anyway, if nothing else. If you're not doing that and all you're doing is supporting the cars that are halo cars, at least in the minds of some, Hellcats, Red Eyes, etc., how does that make the rest of us feel? Again, the mixed messages have got to stop. Start supporting the ones that have been flying your flags the highest, the NA crew, the guys with the trucks. Oh, and let's not forget the trucks, because that's where the new Hurricane engine platform will land first. And yeah, get ready, because Direct Connection will have upgrades for that platform well before they have anything for the NA crowd. But that's just me ranting and raving. Let me check in with you guys, and I'll crack back into this in just a second. Oh, and if you've got questions or comments about that bumper support that I put on Little Miss Revlon back here, throw those in here as well. So Eric is first in. What up, Professor B? Got the flex. Michael Corleone in the house. Ardell's in. Say good evening. What up, man? Eric is in. Algorithmic engagement comment. I like it. Rick is in. Donald Powers. I'm not too late. No, you are right on time. My dad saying Hurricane straight 6 and a current Challenger or Charger. We'll see if it comes. Actually, it would probably come in the newer, later, whatever iteration of the platform. I just don't know they could package it with the engine compartment, what they've got. But I mean, I think they put 6 cylinders in the E-Class. So maybe it'll fit. Amy Dad saying 426 naturally aspirated would be awesome. I would agree. So does Modern Red Hemi. Absolutely. I agree. Robert saying you're on fire. A little bit. Modern Red saying light them up, B. Absolutely. Robert saying you remind me of Jim Rowe back in the day before he was big time. Jim back in the day was a lot of fun. That's a cool compliment, man. Thank you very much. But thank you very much for that. Hemi Dad saying, who the F do they think is going to buy an $80,000 EV? $80,000 EV, by the way, would be inexpensive at that power level, at least. But I agree with you. Not the middle-aged guys who love big V8s, not the millennial hipsters or no jobs. Who then? It's a question I've been asking myself. Actually, it is. I'll save that comment for a little bit, but I have kind of some deep-seated animosity for the EV manufacturers and how they're coming to market with these things and who they're marketing to. But I can get around to that later. Marco's saying, sell all the long to better C7, getting Nissan Frontier and maybe a Hellcat. By the way, I beat a Hellcat. Nice. C7s are fun. Monterey saying new nickname Preacher B. Amen, brother. Thank you, sir. Marco Muay Thai has got the glove and the flex. Man, Marco, I've been hitting cardio like crazy trying to drop weight, and I've got to get my cardio back up. I'm big into rowing right now. I don't know what the deal is with me. I'll just gravitate towards certain things. So anyway, 2,000 meter rowing is what I'm just eating up with right now. But I'm not all that great with it. My form kind of sucks, but I am sub 9 minutes for 2,000 meters. But anyway, trying to get my weight down a little bit. A little too much good at home eating, man. Jordan saying direct connection is the biggest disappointment. Absolutely, it is, and if you don't know the half of it when it comes to direct connection, for me personally, I find the direct connection soft launch to be the most disappointing, mainly to be mostly disappointing because I was so worked up about it in the beginning. Jim is saying the whole Dodge Garage thing. Yeah, I know, right? Donald's asking, you're not applying for one of those positions in the new direct connection, are you? I don't think they'd have me. I don't know what they would, if they would know what to do with me, to be honest with you. Look, let me just put it to you this way. I would love to get a position in direct connection, if for no other reason, just to be an advisor, somebody to be the moral compass, the brand compass, the traditionalist compass that they are supposed to be marketing towards, along with bringing the youth into the fold, because you have to have the youth to come in. But the fact of the matter is that they need somebody in that organization that can steer them in the right direction. I don't think that they are. I think that they're throwing a lot of money at marketing and they're not putting a whole lot of substance into the things. And put it to you another way, they're not putting a lot of soul into what they're putting out there for you. It's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of people that seems like they're using. You ever met somebody that can talk about something, but you know they don't really know what they're talking about? Like they're using the right words, but they're using it out of cadence. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like me going, okay, so when the engine block becomes into the car, it is now known to be making the power of the horses. I mean, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, I guess. I mean, I guess I'm getting a message across, but I wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about, right? It's kind of like that. It's one of those types of situations where they're throwing out the right words. It's just not plating correctly. And at this point, it's basically like eating a gourmet meal and then throwing up on a plate and calling that a plated service. Like, yeah, I guess you got filet mignon and asparagus on the plate, but it ain't exactly in the form that it really should be. And that's where I'm at right now with Dodge. It's a bunch of barf on a plate that came from a good place. And maybe there's all the best intentions, but you're preparing it completely wrong. And you're absolutely plating it completely incorrectly for guys that have been around this. And for the old school guys, the old school purists, and by the way, the old school loyalists who have kept that flag of flying and have kept the flames of burning and have been the ones that were early adopters for these LX platforms early on. Gary's in. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. Saying, what up, B? Got the flexes. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much for the super chat. $19.99. You gotta have to party. But thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate that, buddy. Man, thank you so much. Oh, here we go. Gary didn't have a question. I hope I didn't skip something, Gary. Filming this on the computer tonight too, so it's a little bit easier for me to keep up. Ruben saying this is going to be an epic event. Dodge marketing team, that is amazing. Has a serious introduction with this EV muscle car, and generations possibly could be let down big time. Man, it's very possible. Chick saying Dodge took the internal combustion engine up to the top of the mountain. We followed them up to the mountain, and now they want to throw it over the cliff. It's the way it feels, man. I can tell you that. Rift is in saying, hey, B, got the flexing. MD saying, it would be nice if direct connection setup was ready for the 2021 Challenger 6.4. It'd be great if they had anything for the 6.4. Michael, hey, thanks, buddy. Michael Michael's saying, Dodge, thank you for the $5. I like that. Thank you, buddy. Helps, man. Every bit helps. Dodge is killing their fan base. I can't find a direct connection dealer in my area, even to look into what I can do. Great point to that. So Michael brings up a good point. Direct connection dealers are hard to come by if you've even got one in your area. And by the way, leading up to this direct connection program, we've been our own direct connection. I mean, Little Miss Revlon is just a parts bin car. It's got a rear end out of a Scat Pack. It's got a red-eye drive shaft, thanks to multiple Mopars. It's got a rear seat delete that would have been available in a red-eye. And aside from that, that's it. So interestingly enough, we've kind of done this just fine on our own. And now Dodge wants to get onto the whole direct connection. You can see the old fender cover behind me. Dodge wants to get into this business, but they're not bringing a direct connection to the right folks, in my opinion. And I get it. The supercharged stuff really, really is low-hanging fruit. But you got to wonder if they're taking the easy route with this, what else are they going to take the easy route on? But anyway, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that, buddy. Riff's hanging out with Ruben. Marco's saying skipping, swim, and run. Yes, absolutely. Saying bike if running hurts the joints. No sugar drinks. No, I'm always G0, and I don't ever drink anything with sugar in it. It's rare, unless it's a juice or something like that. But that's all natural-ish, I guess. But yeah, lots of stairs. Rowing, like I said, is kind of my thing right now. Skipping, I'll do a little bit. And I need to get back into swimming because I did used to do a whole lot of swimming. Let's see. Ruben's hanging out with Rift. Rift's saying, you can tell Dodge knows their base. They just aren't doing direct connection right. That's kind of what we're saying for sure. Rowboat's saying there is a big horsepower demon type car coming, very limited availability. The OG Hellcat seems to be getting overloaded with the red eye super stock and jailbreak offerings. I'm open to order a 23 717 Hellcat narrow body, probably the best car in the lineup for a lot of folks anyway. At least they would agree with that. So yeah, one of the things that I would argue right now is that with so with all of the talk that's coming for Roadkill nights and for everything that they're looking to bring to us on those 3 days, if this is their opportunity to bring something cool to the fan base, and in this case, fans that have been there for them lifelong, generational supporters of Mopar, that is going to be really the fan base they need to latch onto. If they don't show something naturally aspirated, if they don't say, hey, listen, y'all asked for it, you got it. 426 is coming back. You talk about collectively the minds being blown. That would solidify a relationship with your core supporters that would actually go above and beyond whatever EV offerings are coming later. I know that I've said in the past that it would be incredibly difficult to get a 426 to pass EPA and all of that, but it can be done. Let's not forget that it wasn't that long ago that Chevrolet was running out 427s. So 426 should be no problem. The only thing about that, though, is that if you're talking about bringing something like that to the masses to basically put the cherry on top of the icing on the cake, which is the internal combustion engine, now would be the time to deploy that last bastion of internal combustion awesomeness. I do not need to see another supercharged variant of the Hellcat, which is in essence what they all are. They're just higher trim levels of a Hellcat. So again, let's review. Hellcat, Red Eye, Demon, which is now no longer. Super Stock, though, which is in play. You've got the TRX. You've got the Trackhawk, which is no longer in play. You've got the the Hellcat Durango, again, no longer in play, but you kind of see where I'm going with this. They've put that platform, that Hellcat platform, in practically everything. When do the NA guys get a shot? And by the way, the core audience that you're looking for, that core audience that will be at the Woodward Dream Cruise, will be looking, thirsting, freaking out over any mention of a 426. You would sell, Dodge, you would sell every single one of those cars that you made like that. And you would be able to carry that on right straight until the internal combustion engine is no more. So, because you've already decided to fold to whatever political winds were blowing, let's talk about your EV offerings for just a minute. Oh, shucks. You don't have any right now, do you? See, that's the other thing where you're totally screwing up, Dodge. Even when you're going to be screwing up your screw up. Let me explain. If you're going to be talking about e-muscle coming in August, maybe we should hear a little bit more about this inline six. Maybe we should see a little bit about how that engine is going to perform in the real world. I mean, that is the next step. Maybe we'll get that on the 16th. But hear me out. Chevrolet already has the Silverado, and it's pretty good. But more importantly, Ford already has the Lightning, which, by the way, has already proven itself to stop mud holes into the arse of a TRX. So, Dodge, you're already getting your collective asses kicked by a freaking EV truck. You haven't even got out of the gate yet with this TRX thing, and you've got a EV truck ripping it apart. And of course, well, you're going to have the biggest target on your back when you are Dodge and when you do have a Hellcat platform in the TRX. But here we go again with this. Dodge, you're late to the party. You were the first to talk about the STLA small, STLA medium, and STLA large platforms. Oh, yeah, and there was also the STLA truck. And for you guys that aren't familiar, what I just got through rattling off were all of the EV platforms. The last of which, the EV truck, was supposed to be a 2 or 4 motor contraption that was going to be the last word in EV truck, period. But it ain't here yet. And we've already got, well, the e-Hummer, the Silverado. You've got the Lightning and others still to come. Now, I understand that you're just not to the party yet with your offering, but man, it's been a while since we talked about the STLA platforms. And here it is. You got nothing to show for it except for e-Torque, which I guess that would be an intermediate offering. Anybody even remember that option? The other thing is that you're talking about, again, bringing EV news to the Woodward Dream Cruise, hybrid news on the 16th to the Dream Cruise. Oh my God, hybrids. Let's certainly hope they don't flub this in the way that I'm thinking that they will. Well, in the way that only corporate America could flub something, if nothing else. So anyway, let me get back to you guys. Riff saying, what's a good cam to put in a pro-charged 6.1? I'll give you some specs. If you're to come to me for a camshaft, pro-charged 6.1. So anytime you're putting a cam together for a supercharger type, typically you don't really think about the supercharger in general when you're putting a cam together. People go, oh, it's a turbo cam. It doesn't really exist. But you can screw up putting a supercharger cam together for a centrifugal or a positive displacement supercharger. So when you're putting a cam together for a centrifugal, you're actually going to be putting a cam together that looks a lot like a very aggressive, naturally aspirated cam. Tight lobe separation angle with a lot of advance. So if I were putting one together for you for a 6.1, I would give you these specs. Go ahead and get ready to write these down. If you want to get a custom grind, just remember, obviously this would be a cam for a 6.1 with no BBT or anything like that. But I would be looking at something like intake center line of about 107. I would go with about, not really knowing if you're going to go real aggressive with the thing, but, I'd go probably 224 on the intake, 234 on the exhaust to give you a little bit of streetability and to help stretch that thing out a little bit in terms of power on the exhaust side. And what I would probably do also is put you on about 113 degree lobe separation angle. That cam right there would be pretty good. Lift, I mean, check piston and valve clearance, but probably 550 ish both sides, 545, 550. Dale's asking, what kind of horsepower would a 426 NA put out over a 392? It'd be about 45 more horsepower. We're saying, let's see those thumbs up, y'all. Kurt's saying it's all commercial, no substance. You probably have to agree with that. X is saying, what up, Professor B? Got the flex. Ruben saying he's speaking the truth. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Any dad saying, I hope they boo the crap out of them when they announce the new EV. That might happen. There's be a lot of folks there. They could very well get booed. Brando, no, that's not their branding. Michael's asking, my biggest problem with Dodge is that they tend to price these things out of people's grasp. Perfect example is the TRX. Yeah, they do. And the funny thing about it is that they're talking about. So here's the thing. You're talking about cars that you're going to be talking about. You're going to be talking about cars in front of a group of people that can't afford them. So what's to be related to with that? It's just not relatable, right? Nobody's going to be throwing around $85,000, $95,000 minimum on some of these cars, much less some of the money that some of these guys are getting for EVs, $110,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. You guys seen what super stocks are going for these days? It's astronomical. Red eyes are going for 90 plus grand. It's crazy. So the problem is, what do you say to that? What can you do with that? It's frustrating to say the least. And I guess for somebody like me that really wants to take the brand to heart, the problem that I have is that I don't feel like Dodge gets it. I really don't. Again, I feel like it is a bunch of people sitting in a room that have Googled stuff about Dodge, that have never been down a drag strip legit, that have never worked on a car, that have never done anything like this, didn't grow up in an automotive family, didn't grow up doing any of this. And keep in mind, I'm saying grow up because this is generational. You get the sense that it's just a bunch of fluff. And the problem is that people see right through that kind of crap. And the issue is that if you're going to bring something to market, you need to be marketing it in an environment that is friendly to your release. And I'm sorry, guys, but the Dream Cruise probably not going to be the best place to be throwing around EVs, especially EVs that cost more than Well, the house that some of these people live in. Are they supposed to get excited about that? Come on. And we're living in an era. Let's not forget something real quick, guys. The elephant in the room. We're living in an era where the traditional muscle car, the car that you would find at the back of a lot about 20 years ago. So for you guys that aren't aware of this, back in the day, used car lots were really where you would buy a used car. And when you got to the used car lot, you had front of the lot cars that were usually the nicer cars. Those would be the cars that were traded in. They bought them at auction, good looking, nice cars. Back of the lot cars were cars that were, you would hear them sold as mechanics specials. These were cars that had blown up motors, blown up transmissions, dents, dings, rattles, you name it. Muscle cars were always back of the lot cars because they were always blown up. There were always something wrong with them. People get this wrong impression of muscle cars, and I'm here to tell you they weren't this revered thing. They were playthings that when they blew up, guys tried to get rid of or pass off as quickly as they could. Well, now cars like, and we'll use Dodges, for example, Dusters, Demons, Darts, cars that would, the A-body stuff, cars that would Aspens, cars that would be easily purchased and hot rodded by young guys. Well, number one, they don't exist anymore. Nobody makes cars like that. So, hey, Dodge, word of the wise. But even the ones that do exist are priced outside of the range of the target guy or gal that would normally buy those things when they were new anyway. So you've got guys, you're going to have guys at Woodward that have overpaid for a car, paid a ton of money to get brought into existence, spent time, effort, time with family, by the way, money, and blood, sweat, and tears over this thing, have had to deal with all kinds of headaches and setbacks, and now they finally have their pride and joy ready to be shown at the Dream Cruise. And you're going to hit them up with, oh, your internal combustion engine. Oh, yeah, that stuff's dead. Here's this EV. Really? With no soul. Not like what you had back in the day. And again, it's going to be a EV car, right? It's not going to be the Aspen, the Dart, the Demon, the Duster, just start going down the list, right? All this just diverse, cool car selection to choose from. No, it's just going to be one or two. And they're going to throw out some cars that are just going to be the basic, again, transportation appliance is the most polite way you can put it. That's what they're going to be throwing out into the world. And so, unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of folks that are not going to be very interested in this. And again, all I can say is to the folks that can and will be early adopters for this technology, let us know how well that goes. Oh, and one other thing, since they're doing this at Woodward, and since they're doing it at the Dream Cruise, or rather Roadkill Nights, brought to you by Dodge, since they're doing it there, are they really going to reveal and maybe bring one of these monsters? Wow, that would be sweet. Maybe, just, I don't know, hear me out. Maybe they run it up against the competition and maybe bring out a Tesla Plaid. Have y'all heard of that thing? The Tesla Plaid? It's kind of a big deal. Maybe they can run this car to be named against the Tesla Plaid. How novel. I mean, it is going to be legal street racing. Maybe they can do something like that. Maybe that would be the hook. Maybe, just maybe, that would be the shtick that they would need to pull to bring people into the fold on this thing. Nah, I don't think so. But we can only hope, right? I mean, we can only dream that that's going to be what they would do. That would get me excited. Oh, hell, here they go. EV against EV. Now we're talking. Maybe this is the future of drag racing. Oh, wait a minute. Now you're going to have $250,000 cars going down the track. That's $300,000 going down the track. Yeah, I don't know. That's too relatable. Oh, damn. Is this a paradox? Starting to wonder how this works. You know where I'm going with this. Anyway, let me catch back up with you guys. Duke saying, thoughts of a 6.4 cam and a 5.7? I wouldn't bother with it. I mean, it would be a great blower cam if you're putting a positive displacement supercharger on a 5.7. But why would you when there's better offerings out there? Rowboat's liking the idea of about a 580 horse 426. It's doable. But we'll have to see. I would agree with you, though. Anything with a 426 badge would be pretty awesome. So fingers crossed. Hopefully all this old man style that I'm throwing out there can get sweetened up by something like that. That would be awesome. X is checking in saying my 5.7 just hit 80K. Is there anything that I need to check specifically for maintenance? Nope. Just stay on top of the maintenance already. Keep changing that oil, air filter, cabin filter. All of that should be good. Make sure that everything is up to snuff and you will be just fine. Brando's saying, I heard the C8 Z06 is going to be over 200,000. Might as well get a Lamborghini or Ferrari for that price. I would agree with that. X is saying, interesting. I didn't know that. Cool. Ruben saying this EV muscle car better be incredible to be released at Woodward. I would agree. Hopefully we get some kind of release inside or something on that thing. Marcus likes the way his car sounds, doesn't want to hear it through speakers. I can understand that. Rift is saying, you're right. I would think that its main competition as EV muscle car would be Plaid, so they would definitely compare the two. I think it'd be awesome. You know what? I think it would be awesome. And you know what? You know, Elon Musk is not against other car companies, other EV car companies, being part of the EV community. I mean, there's a lot of his technology that's available for free. How interesting would it be if they could kick off a Tesla Dodge rivalry? I mean, the two bad boys of EV, right? Depending on which, anyway, I'm not going to go there, but that would be pretty cool. Let's see what they end up doing with that. Oh, X is saying, thanks for reminding me to change the cabin air filter. Is it a pain in the ass to get out? It can be in some cars. It's not too bad with the LX platform, though. It reminds me, I got to change mine too. Get in there and dig it out. So that's my rant, if you will, on this whole release thing. I'm going to do my level best to keep an open mind with this, but unfortunately, I know the economics of how this stuff works. And when you're throwing around millions of dollars to market yourself, you've got to get the best return on investment. And I just don't see this as being the best return on investment. It looks to me like it's a convenient place, albeit not necessarily the best place to release the new EV, or at least to start talking about the EV. I would have much rather seen something a little bit less, well, all right. So look, it's not synergy to try to bring in old school with the new school at Woodward. We're bringing in old school with the EV. We're going to release the EV or talk about the EV or show you the EV or do something with this EV at Woodward. Because when you look at the economics and when you look at the audience that is going to be there, again, a complete celebration of the traditional automotive lifestyle, you're going to be bringing in EVs. I can't illustrate, I cannot give you a simile for just how wrong that's going to land, how poorly that's going to land for some folks. And to put it in perspective, none of the other manufacturers are talking about performance EVs. There's talk about the e-Corvette, there's talk about the e-Mustang, but you don't see them coming into Woodward for the Dream Cruise to try to hype up those vehicles. They're catering those vehicles to a completely different crowd with the Mach-E, with the Ken Brock thing and all of that. By the way, when's the last time you heard anything about that contraption? Just saying. Manufacturers understand, at least other manufacturers, they understand that it can be a little bit distasteful to try to parade a $100,000+ car out into the world when people right now are having a hard time buying groceries. And if the argument is, okay, well, what about gas? You wouldn't have to buy gas. No, you're exactly right. You would not have to buy gasoline, but filling her up at the homestead ain't exactly free. And you'd be forgiven if you didn't know how much it costs to fill up an EV. You ever wondered what it costs to fill up an EV? Well, for some of the higher capacity batteries, in other words, the vehicles that can travel 400-ish miles, between 350 and 400, it's going to cost you just shy of $20 to fill her up. So if you're doing a lot of driving and you're really going 200 miles, 300 miles, it's going to cost you around $15 to top it off to get that extra 200 to 300 miles out of it. That's the economics of it. But you also have to have a charger and a place to charge it, which would mean a house, which would mean a house with a garage, presumably, with the ability to have a wall charger mounted and electrically connected to the rest of your house's electrical system. These are not inexpensive propositions. In fact, a whole lot of people don't have those types of provisions. So again, it's a little bit distasteful to start talking about EVs and all these other things at the Woodward Dream Cruise when these guys have been using their garage to build their dreams, not to have a nightmare scenario where they can't afford a car to put in their garage to begin with. So anyway, let me get back to you guys. Hemi Dad, thank you very much, buddy. Saying, be on fire tonight. I wish Dodge would listen to their biggest fans, you and me both. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Rip is saying, yeah, the main competition would be the Plaid. I mean, it's the only competition I think I would want to go up against. I mean, everything else you're already faster than with your internal combustion engines. X is saying, thanks. Thank you for reminding me to change my cabin air filter. Let's see. Oh, Mark is saying the electric car doesn't offer anything to people who buy a cheaper car and want to slowly add parts because it can't drop 100,000 on a car. Plus, what would you do to the EV anyway? I mean, other than wash it and wax it. But I understand exactly what you're saying because there's nothing to do really. X is saying, sounds good. I like it. Mike's asking, what can I spray safely in a 6109 Challenger? Well, if you've got somebody tuning it and you run a shade colder on the plugs, basically 7 heat range if you're into NGKs, 150 shot is usually a pretty safe bet. Now, that being said, it's going to depend on the tune. It will have to be tuned to run the nitrous. I know some people will try to argue that, but a standalone nitrous system, meaning you have your standalone fuel system, keep it filled up with 100 octane race gas and set your window switch for 3,000 to 6,000 RPM, and you should be fine. But again, just remember that you have, well, technically speaking, you have not a whole lot of window above about 150 horsepower because transmission issues start to take place at that point. So it's really not the 6.1. It has more to do with your transmission. Kurt saying, what about an EV aircraft carrier? Technically, aircraft carriers are already electric vehicles. They run on nuclear power, and that nuclear power is used to power electric motors and steam generators. Michael saying, Kurt, they already have them. They're nuclear powered. Michael literally right behind it. That's awesome. Good job, Michael. You beat me to it. And thank you again, Hemi Dad. Nick's saying he's got a 2018 RT and he's got a 2020, or he picked up an 18 in 2020. Got them both from a Chevy dealership. Nice. I used to say back in the day, the best place to find used Dodges was in Ford used car lots. Nick's saying dealership seems to have a tune or something going on. It just seems more aggressive for some reason. Have you ever heard of this? I have heard of some cars being seemingly to be a bit more aggressive from the factory. I've never seen anything in the tune itself. And in some cases, it's just a factor of tolerance stacking in the build. And in others, it's just, cars were really well maintained. Keep maintaining it aggressively, and you'll be able to maintain that level of performance. Scat Speed saying, what up, Mason? Got the flexes. I like it. Oh, Brando, I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't have different badging on it. I know they have a drag pack. Oh, no, you're talking about the drag pack. I was thinking the super stock. It's because it is a body in white car. They do not put badges on body in white. EVs still have to buy electricity. Absolutely, you do. Scat Speed got all the flexes. Mike G saying, hey, Mason, given the current gas prices, if I step down to regular gas instead of mid-grade, is it noticeably worse for the RT in terms of daily driving? It's not noticeably worse. You'll just be riding the knock sensors a lot more with that. But I mean, if you're not beating on it and you're just basically daily cruising it, it's not that bad. You can run 87 in the 5.7, and it's not that big of a deal. It's actually kind of a benefit to having an RT with that 5.7. But I get it. I'm running a mix of 89 and 87 in the work truck right now, and I always run 89 in that thing. Oh, Chuck's taking off. Saying, sorry, you got to have to miss the show at the drive-ins watching the new Top Gun movie. Oh, cool. You're watching at the drive-in. That's awesome. It's my anniversary, 11 years of marriage. Happy anniversary. 17 years of putting up with me. The T-shirts are awesome. Thank you, brother. Glad you like them very much. Saying, hopefully catch you on the next show. Absolutely. You guys have fun out there. It's awesome that y'all are at the drive-in. I heard that movie's awesome too. So enjoy, my friend. Thanks for hanging out, though. Let's see. Oh, Mike's saying I have a Diablo tuner. Haven't done the custom tune yet. It's a 6-speed with a stage 3. Thank you so much for the reply. Do you recommend a person to tune? Give Pite's Performance, Peitz, a shout, and they can get you taken care of with a remote tune. Dad saying you're welcome. Oh, for the yes, contribution to the cause. Saying, yeah, you're welcome. Glad to support a channel, gives good entertainment and information. Thank you very much. Sovereign Knight is in saying, hey, B, what's up, Sovereign? Being saying our electric grid sucks. Imagine everybody plugging it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So one of the things that was said out in California, which was telling, by the way, was we've got enough grid for everybody to run their air conditioners. And charging your car, by the way, is more taxing, or at least as taxing as running an air conditioner. So it'd be like running two air conditioners. It'd be like, do you want to charge your car or run your AC? Well, it's summertime. You tell me. Anyway, there are some grids in the United States that may have a problem with that. Summer saying, bye, Chuck. Riff saying, I'm actually getting pretty good mileage in my Hellcat with the 85 as long as I don't get on it. With gas prices like this, it's worth it. Yeah. And yeah, you can actually still get pretty decent mileage if you don't have your foot in it. Phoenix saying blackouts, like, sorry, can't make it to work today. The car's not charged. No kidding. It's just sitting there plugged in. Scat's asking, what are the direct connection stage kits coming out for our scat packs? I'm losing my mind waiting for something to happen. Don't hold your breath for the NA stuff, guys. Scat's WTF Dodge. Sorry, saying California doesn't make sense. I lived there for quite a few years, man. No, it does not. X is saying they've been renamed to Disconnection. I like that. Sovereign saying, going to assume those with scat packs cannot get away with 87. No, you cannot get away with 87 with a scat pack. Not at all. Not a good idea. They're already pretty bad just with 91 octane, much less trying to go with 89, and then even way worse with 87. So, yeah, they are not set up for it. 87 octane. But guys, we're going to do an hour long tonight. I know it's been a while since I've done a show. Next time we're going to be talking about the weight reduction. I know some of y'all had some questions about, is it a concern for safety or things like that? Not really. But what I will do is I will talk about that on the next live show. But with that, I am going to go ahead and wrap it up. Just to answer Skid's question real quick, no. And NA guys, again, don't hold your breath on the direct connection stuff. But guys, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. If you're going to send it, don't bend it, keep your shiny side up. Get out there and do something cool for somebody. Chances are they need it more than you know. And with that, guys, y'all have a great evening. That's a wrap. Adios.